Can Moonbeam return back to its all-time highs in the next bull run? Welcome back to Bearman Crypto, where we talk all things crypto. So in today's video, I just wanted to discuss the question, can Moonbeam return back to its all-time highs come the next bull run? In my own personal opinion, I definitely think so, and I'll take you through why I think that is the case. But again, always do your own further research before investing any of your hard-earned cash. I'm just showing you what I'm seeing and just sharing my views on the topic. And again, just as a reminder, if you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you stay up to date with the content. And if you enjoy this type of content, make sure you hit the like button so I can keep bringing you more and more of this type of content that you do enjoy. So just in terms of Moonbeam and all the stuff that is obviously happening with their development, I am very much still bullish on Moonbeam. I think you can see as we go through all the various projects that have deployed on Moonbeam, as well as Moonriver. So Moonriver is obviously the canary network for Moonbeam. So a lot of the testing happens on Moonriver and then gets moved over to Moonbeam, where ultimately everything gets deployed eventually. And these are all the various list of projects that have been deployed on Moonbeam or Moonriver. And there's all different types of projects. You've got dexes, you've got bridges, you've got NFT platforms, all these different types of projects. And this is what makes me bullish about the potential of Moonbeam, particularly in the next bull run. A lot of these things were built during, or have been built during this bear market. So, this gives me that degree of confidence that there's going to be a future for this project. BeamSwap is one of the ones that I had a look at, and there's also Stellar Swap, and I'll just take you through some of the things that I found on these two dexes and what I've been doing on these two dexes. So just having a look first at BeamSwap. So this is BeamSwap Dex, which essentially runs using GLMR as the base to swap. So if you need to swap to USDC, or you need to buy any Beam tokens, you can swap them on this specific DEX. But what I've basically done is, on the Beam Swap website, I've gone over here and have a look at what there is that I can potentially stake. And I'll just show you, this is not saying that BeamSwap is going to be a fantastic project. No, all I'm doing is just testing out the ecosystem and the various projects, just to get a feel for what's being built and really see if it's something that I like. And at the same time, if there's opportunity to earn any sort of little passive income, be it that this is a very much unknown project in terms of BeamSwap, but you never know, this could turn out to be, one of those that does very well at some stage and has a sporadic pump, and you can make a few gains. Obviously, I'm not saying that you should do the same. This is just what I'm doing. So what I've basically done is bought myself some of these BeamSwap tokens. So the ticker for the BeamSwap tokens is Glint, as you can see here. So I bought a bag of these, and I'm staking at the moment on the DEX at 19%. For me, this is just getting a feel for what there is to offer on projects that are being built on Moonbeam. So at the moment, it talks about what happens with the staking. So you basically stake your Glint and you receive a token called share, and that basically represents a share of the pool of transactions that happen on BeamSwap, and then basically those are then converted to Glint, and you get a proportion of those, and you can always swap them back to GLMR tokens if you want at some stage. You don't have to hold on to it. I'm not saying it's got any value. This is just me experimenting. And at 19%, APR, you can't go wrong, I think. And again, the other one that I've been trying out is this one called Stellar Swap. You can see all the different things happening on Stellar Swap, and one of the things that I found interesting is the fact that at some point will be used as a launch pad. So if there's any new projects being built, you never know, these could be built on Moonbeam, and then the launch could happen here on Stellar Swap. This is again all speculative, but again, what I'm trying to do here is just test out, see what the platform is like. There's also farming rewards, there's minting of NFTs. You can receive, I'm not quite sure what the receive free partner tokens, what that's about. Again, that's why sometimes it's good just to test out these waters and see what's on offer. And here again, I'm staking. I bought some of these Stellar tokens. I'm staking these. You can see what the APR is. APR is close to 48%. I've got very few. Again, it's just an experiment just to see what that's like and what the returns are like. So you can see here I'm staking 2,000 tokens on here. Not a lot. Again, this is just to test out. So I think it's worthwhile. And some of these tokens, if you want to buy Stellar Swap or the one that we just discussed, Beam Swap, you should be able to find it if you go on to CoinGecko and just type in Beam Swap in the search or Stellar Swap in the search, and then you should be able to find the token, and you can then start exploring yourself. So just having a look at the price action for Moonbeam, we had a look at this in my last video. Obviously we've gone down since then. We're 5.5% down for the day. You know, this at the moment, as you can see, this is the full chart for Moonbeam. It has pretty much flatlined. That is not to say that it can't go lower. Of course it can definitely go lower. Given everything that's happening in the market right now, who knows, this could keep going down. It could go down as far as 20 cents. Who knows? It's, as I said in my last video, this is still a relatively new project. So at the moment, it's in downward price discovery. Not the way we want it to be, which is obviously upward price discovery. But just thinking about all-time highs and where those sit. So all-time highs, we got a price of $19.50. So based on what we've just looked at in terms of all the projects deploying on Moonbeam, I think this can definitely, by the next bull run, if they continue building in the background as they're doing, this will definitely do a 50x and surpass all-time highs, in my opinion. 50x is possible, 100x equally as possible, if they continue building, obviously. And in terms of just looking at the token supply, let's just have a quick look what the token supply is. We've got at the moment supply of just over 1 billion, and circulating supply of 459 million. Obviously, as they continue to release these tokens into the system, this will put price pressure on the token, and it could continue to drop. But I have confidence that even though it might drop a little bit, it will recover. One of the things that I usually use as guidance again is this website, Token Unlocks. You can see here it tells you when the next bit of unlocking for each token is. So this is specifically looking at GLMR to see when the next unlocking is. So we've got another unlocking event here on the 11th of December. They'll be unlocking about 2.2% of the supply. Last time they had one of these, it didn't necessarily have an impact on the price, but other things happening in the crypto markets can potentially have a detrimental impact on the price rather than this unlocking that we see here. And we can see that even though that we've got this unlocking happening all the time, we can see just over here in terms of what that looks like, you'll always reach at some point 1 billion, and that's going to be very gradual. We're talking, for it to reach 1 billion, we're talking 2025. So just for context, it will show you just how much time it's going to get to reach that max supply, so to speak. And one of the things to also remember is with the GLMR token, this is used as a basis for transactions on the network. So as part of the process, some of these transaction fees are basically used as a burning mechanism. So 80% of those transaction fees will be burning GLMR tokens. So I think that kind of counteracts some of these token releases that will happen over time. But again, this is just my opinion. I'm not financial advice. Who knows what happens with this market? And if we also have a look at the short-term timeframes, so just following up on my video yesterday, we looked at this specific chart here, where we're looking at the fib retracement up here, as well as the MACD down here. And yesterday when I was looking at this, I was saying, hey, when the blue line tends to cross over the orange line and we start to print these green histograms above the zero line, we usually tend to get a price increase. I'm still looking at this opportunity to see if that plays out, and you can see that the blue line is still above, so I've got my eye on this to see what happens. But as I said, you never know, the price could, rather than pump, it could dump, but that will be purely driven by what's happening in the overall crypto markets. So it won't just be purely down to this chart, it will be what's also happening in the crypto markets. And as we discussed yesterday, just for reference, you can see some few examples that I picked out when that sort of thing happened, where when the blue line crossed the orange line, you can see it up here, that sort of thing happened here, and then we had a bit of a price increase again here, where this is a good example where that blue line crossed that orange line here. At this point we then had that increase up to here, so this was the price pumped from about 46 cents up to a peak of 62 cents on a wick. So this is the sort of thing that I'm looking at and thinking, hey, this could be an opportunity. And here where obviously the orange line crossed above the blue line, we had a price drop. So this is what I'm using just as an indicator for myself to see what is likely to happen with the price action short term, if I'm interested in taking a position to see if there's any sort of pump that might happen. But you can also use this, as you can see here, you can use this as an indicator to sell. So if the orange line is above the blue line, that could be an indicator to sell. And you can see here at that point the histogram was printing below the zero line. So at the moment I'll keep a close watch on this to see what is happening on a daily basis. If this situation changes, then obviously it nullifies the opportunity that we might get a pump. So that's what I'm just using and watching at this point in time to see if there's any sort of opportunities there. But again, if you're liking this type of content, please make sure you subscribe, and I'll keep adding this type of content if this is what you enjoy. But just continue to stick around and paying attention, and that's all I had for you in this video, and I'll see you in my next video.